Welcome to The Way, an independent Christian church located in Ocala, Florida. Thank you for joining us for today's devotional from Elder Russ Gemberling.
The choices we make every day are probably not life-changing, but we still make choices. What do we eat today? Do we go out or cook at home? Do I go to the store? Where do I buy gas? Do I go to an appointment the way I usually go, or do I take another route? Sometimes we do things out of habit, and other times it requires us to make a choice. When we look at the story in Matthew 14:25 through 29, we read, "Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. 'It's a ghost,' they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, 'Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid.' Peter responded and said to him, 'Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water.' And Jesus said, 'Come.' Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus." We have probably heard many variations concerning Peter in this event, and consider Peter's choice as Jesus came out to the boat. It was a choice Peter made as to obey Jesus or not. Peter asked Jesus, "If it is you, command me to come to you." And Jesus did just that. Peter could have stayed in the boat like the other disciples, but he was the only one to put his trust in Jesus, to ask the Lord if he thought it was a good idea to get out of the boat, and to make the choice to obey Jesus. If you are going to experience a greater measure of God's power in our lives, it will usually involve the first step principle. It will usually begin by acting in faith, trusting God enough to take a step of obedience. Simply acknowledging information about His power is not enough. We have to get our feet wet, and when we say yes, we set in motion an adventure that will leave us forever changed. Dramatic events can change our lives, for better or for worse, which bring about deep character and personality changes. Boot camp for newly enlisted individuals is an example of controlled trauma that is designed to foster traits like teamwork, loyalty, and obedience. Jesus allowed his disciples to face a storm alone in a boat is an example of Jesus using controlled trauma with masterful skill to help them take the step forward, to trust that they would never be able to develop on their own. Put yourself in Peter's place for a moment. You have a sudden insight into what Jesus is doing. The Lord is passing by. He's inviting you to go on an adventure of your life, and at the same time, you're scared to death. What is your choice? The water or the boat?